Now use this leg to push your hips up into the air. We look at one thing and one thing only, and that is initiation. Now run away to pull him down. Yeah, good.
Was geht ab, Leute? Willkommen zum neuen Video. Heute haben wir was ganz Besonderes für euch. Ein ADCC Seminar mit ADCC Referee Heath, the Ref. Das ist einer der erfahrensten ADCC Referees, die es überhaupt noch gibt. Selber sehr, sehr stark, wenn es um BJJ geht. Wir haben 3 Stunden Technik vor uns, 1 Stunde Rollen. Optimal, um ADCC Strategien auszubauen, zu verbessern und Loopholes aus dem Ruleset kennenzulernen und zu abusen. Und genau das wird heute passieren. Stay tuned. Erstmal willkommen zum Seminar mit Heath. Das ist einer der erfahrensten Referees, die es überhaupt nur gibt. Deswegen ist es natürlich eine große Ehre, ihn hier zu haben und weil er natürlich auch einfach ein cooler Typ Mensch ist, wir ihn in Austin kennengelernt haben und ich mich einfach sehr darüber freue, ihn hier haben zu können. Von hier an kann Heath gerne übernehmen.
Yeah, so thanks for coming. This is only the second seminar I did. You guys got lucky that it wasn't the first one. First one went well, but I learned a lot of stuff, so you guys are gonna get like an even better version. So I'm gonna cover the main things that people sort of mess up with ADCC rules. This is the most that I'm gonna be talking right now, and then I'm just gonna basically start showing techniques, and then as rule stuff comes up, I'll mention it and talk about it. If you guys have any questions, then you can let me know as well. Basically, like the ADCC rule set is super different from any other jiu-jitsu rule set. The main thing is that the first half of any match, there's no points. You can run around and do submissions, you can do flying submissions, you can pull guard, you can get mounted, you can get your back taken, whatever, it doesn't matter, because they want to encourage you to take risks. And then, after the first half of the match, then we start the points period. And so now you can score points for taking the back, you can score points for passing the guard and stuff like that. But the way that we score points is like I said, very particular, and there's some cool, like, not really loopholes because they're written into the rules, but some cool strategies and tactics that we can use to take full advantage of the rule set to avoid getting scored on. If the score is equal or there's no submission by the end of regulation, then we go to an overtime period. And the overtime period is just another points period, but you start standing. So the last part of the seminar, we're gonna look at some standing techniques, and we're also gonna look at what happens if the score is completely even at the end, like maybe it's 0-0 all the way to the end. The way that we decide a match with an even score in ADCC is also super different from anything else. We look at one thing and one thing only, and that is initiation. So who initiated more action? We're gonna start with the first part now. So Jay, can you come on this side? As Jay comes in here, he crosses his ankles and he rolls his hips back into mine and take a cross face with your left arm. Okay, from here, I have this hand across the hips. All right, and my elbow, I'm gonna show on the other side, don't worry, but it's super important that my elbow pokes out on this side over here, okay? When I hit this high bridge, if Jay just takes his left hand and posts on my elbow and pushes me across, now I'm exposing my back, and that's not what we wanted, right? We wanna prevent back exposure. So from here, I'm gonna bridge by turning my knees and come up, flip my hips over, and keep your ankles crossed, and get into this position here, okay? If your feet start falling, it's so easy to just run them up, and now we're in a good position to start working. And now from here, we're ready to go, regaining guard, and we didn't give up any back exposure. Okay? 1, 2. Now, bridge. Good. Now, yeah, that's the position. That's the position right there. And now from here, you just take your right arm back, post inside his ankle, step your right leg back to capture the ankle, and now you can fall to your side and hit a knee elbow escape. So this technique is like the most basic version of this, this escape. So every time that I get to the high bridge escape, I always go for this first. If they just kind of try to hold on, then this is a good way to get out. But as our opponents start to get better, we need to mix in other attacks. So what we're gonna look at now is a heisting escape. I bridge him over and I get up to this position. Now I put my left knee on the mat so that it's gonna be easy for me to post on my forehead and bring my hand out. Once my hand comes out, I'm walking everything backwards so that I can pull him down to the mat and end up in top close guard. All right? 1, 2. Now run away to pull him down. Yeah, good.
maybe I can actually...
Nice heist, that was good. That was a nice heist.
Maybe actually...
That's basically the end of the no points period. So like to recap, the goal during no points is to avoid back exposure. And so what we did was we just let our opponent pass our guard. The worst case scenario is that he mounts us. But if we're good at mount escapes, then we're chilling. We can just escape mount and get back to guard. And now you're going into the point section. And now you have to completely change what you're doing. Okay, it has to be completely different. You really have to play 2 entirely different games if you want to maximize the rule set. Go for submissions, go for everything you want during no points, just go fucking crazy. And then as soon as that 3 minutes hits and you hear the referees and the judges yell, points, then you change your game completely. It's sort of like a cost analysis. We have to expose our back enough to not get scored on, but then also not enough so that we don't get our back taken. We have to minimize it. And we're gonna look at some like later stage stuff here. So when Jay wants to pass my guard in ADCC rules, what he has to do, he has to pin my back flat on the mat for 3 seconds showing control. So if from here I'm still like moving and stuff like that, and I'm able to get my shoulders off the mat, stuff like this, then he's not gonna score. But as soon as he can pin and hold, oftentimes because I just gave up because he's so strong and buff and good looking that he just holds me down, then this is really bad. So we want to put ourselves in a position where we can turn on our side. So he comes in, and as he's passing, I feel he's passing, I'm going to cover my head that way. As I go to turn, I can put both my hands on the same side of my body. And now it's going to be really easy to turn up, okay? It doesn't matter how long Jay holds me here. He can hold 30, 40 seconds. He's not going to score until he can put my back flat on the mat and hold for 3 seconds with good solid control. Okay, so from here, we end up in this position, and now we're gonna look at a good way to get to turtle from here. As Jay is standing over me, he passes my guard. I do a good job of keeping my arms in, so I have the option of either you could turn into him if you wanted, but for this, we're gonna turn away. I take both my hands to the same side of my body. He locks the seatbelt. From here, my elbow comes underneath my body, and now I run in a circle, put my forehead on the mat, and I come up, just take a top turtle. Take a top turtle position here, and we're gonna look at some stuff to do from here a little bit later, but we've got some more stuff that we're gonna do before that. So first, we're just looking at covering our head so that we can get both of our hands on the same side of our body, turn away from him, and run our feet in a circle in order to get up to turtle. Okay, 1, 2. I push, come up on my shoulder. Notice how I'm always keeping my elbow underneath my body. And now if I need to, I can walk away a little bit. And then I use this to rotate. And if there was a partner here, I would have pushed off of this leg. This foot stays connected the whole time. Okay, 1, 2. So now you use your right leg to push your hips up in the air, spin your head to the inside, and come out on the other side. Yeah. So now use this leg to push your hips up into the air. Your hips go up into the air. There, and now your head goes in between and roll. Yep, there you go. You got it. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, let's look in again. So the last sort of late stage guard retention thing that we can do before we get our guard fully passed. All right, so he's coming in, he's passing my guard, and I'm like, oh fuck, so I start turning, but I make sure to keep this hook sticky. Okay, I don't just put it in. Now he's just gonna take his leg off. He's gonna go around behind me. So instead, I put it in and I hook tightly. All right, now I can turn whatever I need to do so that I can get his head on the other side of my body, and I reach my hand in and I grab a front headlock here. And now I take my whole body this way. As I start sweeping, his hand comes off. Now I can lock my hands in this nice guillotine. I throw my leg over the back and everything crunches in this direction, okay? Doing this motion like this, okay? Yoko Sumieshi to arm in guillotine. 1, 2. You would never have your head this low. If your head's this low, I can do stuff like this and just roll you over. So your head needs to be higher. Okay, now from here I take my knees up and I start, okay, if he doesn't post, then I'm gonna take him over, but he posts. And now from here, I can take my hands in and look at where my hands are, right? Yeah. The blade of my wrist is coming up high and I'm pushing them up in front of his shoulder. And now from here, I throw my leg over and I crunch everything in towards the side, folding his chin to his chest like this. but I have one hook in and I'm trying to lock over his far hip. So see how like I'm covering this hip and locking. And now whenever he goes up onto his hands and knees, I can use no hands and stay connected here. But look how if I start rotating, I'm gonna fall off. So you try to stay square by locking over the hip. When we're in turtle position in ADCC, the only way that you can score points is by getting to mount or getting to the back. If I'm here in turtle and Jay throws 2 hooks in, 1, 2, and he holds 1, 2, 3. Now he scores 3 points, okay? So, however it happens, I end up rolling and Jay puts me in mount. Now he scores 1, 2, 3, 2 points, okay? But the interesting thing about ADCC is that when I get to turtle, it's considered a neutral position. So that means that there's no established top and bottom. So because we're in this like weird chest to back position, nobody says, oh yeah, he's definitely top or he's definitely bottom. Now, like when you see it, you're like, okay, obviously he's top or he's bottom. But the way that people get the turtle is oftentimes like really weird, and then it's not fully clear who was on top and who was on bottom. If I roll and I put my back on the mat, he scores 0 points for this. We talked in the no point section about how we want to keep our back on the mat because it's like the worst position that we can give up, right? Let's say we get our guard pass during the points period, we have to expose our back, okay? The other thing that's interesting, I can capture his arm and get out in this direction and start rolling him through like this, and I end up on top. This is also 0 points, even though I passed his guard and swept him. This is also 0 points. There was no established top and bottom. There was no established guard. So how am I gonna pass his guard? How am I gonna sweep him if we don't know who's top, who's bottom, and we don't know who has a guard and who doesn't, okay? Now we're gonna look at the overtime period. So if you make it all the way through and you can't score, you can't submit your opponent, the match is decided for the whole thing, not just the overtime. The way that that decision scoring works is we're looking for initiations. So who comes in and initiates the action. So a good example that can confuse some people is maybe I come in, I square my partner up and I pick up his leg. From here, he hits me with an uchimata and I go flying and there's all this movement. Now, if you saw that, you're not an ADCC judge, you would probably say, Jay is winning the match. He hit like a nice uchimata, but the only reason he got the uchimata was because I shot. So that's the whole essence of initiation. It's who's causing things to happen. I judged this match one time, this guy's name is Caleb Crump, and oh my God, at the end of the match, I think I had like 13 initiations for him because he kept doing this. So we're coming in a nice wrestling stance, our knees are bent, and our front hand is down. Okay, that way if Jay shoots on my leg, I'm able to put my shoulder in front of his shoulder and sprawl my leg back, and I have a nice down block here. So I come in, and I'm just trying to get a nice single. I can either circle this way and draw this foot forward, or by pulling on his tricep here up in the armpit, I can circle this way and get this leg moving forward. And now I reach down, take an outside step, reach down, and grab his leg. My head is high, I'm not here like this. Here he can sprawl on me. Here, I'm good. I'm in a good solid posture. I drive into him, my hands connect, and I pick up the leg. Now from here, I bump into him, and I bring his leg up nice and high, getting this ankle lock grip on the inside. Okay, it's not this. This is different. This is completely different set of techniques. I'm on the outside of his leg. Okay, so my hips are in, I'm walking backwards, and now from here, I take a wrist deep grip over his knee. As I walk backwards, I pull, 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 and if I need to, I can reach my foot out, trip, and take him down, okay? 1, 2. Here, like this, whole wrist over the top, and now rotating, 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 pulling, like that. All right, so let's have another look in. If we want to win the decision in an ADCC rules match, we need to shoot in overtime especially, but like doing something like a shot is gonna help you rack up tons of decisions. But a lot of people are really scared that if they shoot, they get sprawled out on, and now I'm defending and maybe I get guillotined and the match is over, maybe he goes behind me and the match is over. So we need to use some strategies to lower the chances that he's gonna be able to sprawl out on us. Number one is, I come in, I pull his leg, I get nice connection, he starts sprawling, so I drop to my knee, and I knee walk in, and now I pick up the leg, and from here, I bump, and I do all the same stuff that we looked at before. The other option, I come in, pick up the leg, I don't want to drop to my knees. He starts sprawling, I just build up into an underhook. Take my left foot through to the middle, deep over the knee. Notice how I'm not grabbing like this. If I grab like this and he sprawls, I lose it. If I grab like this and he sprawls, I still stay connected, okay? So, we're in here, we take our left step in, run, 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 put him down, land in a nice chest-to-chest half guard on top. 1, 2. If I try to stand up here, I'm just gonna stand up into a sprawl. So I walk, walk, walk. Now my hips are underneath, and now I can take my legs up and pick up the leg. Let's do, we can do 5-minute rounds. Then I can roll with everyone, I think. My knee is fucked up, so I'm probably just gonna play bottom, but still I'm gonna try.
Das war's dann auch schon mit unserem Seminartag. Heath hat noch eine Heimreise vor sich. Nicht vergessen, checkt sein Merch ab. Wir droppen es runter in die Beschreibung und folgt uns auf allen Socials. Wie immer, subscribe, Glocke aktivieren, droppt in die Kommentare, was ihr in Zukunft sehen wollt und was euch vom Seminar gefallen hat. Let's go.